Outdoor spaces have a quiet way of shaping how we feel. A small garden filled with thoughtful textures, soft flowers, and natural materials can become a peaceful extension of the home. Even the simplest backyard can carry the timeless beauty of European garden traditions. Today, we're exploring charming French garden ideas that bring a touch of Parisian elegance into everyday outdoor spaces, using simple plants, affordable decor, and relaxed design principles. Here on Rustic and Rooted, we celebrate gardens that feel natural, welcoming, and beautifully lived in. A narrow gravel path is one of the simplest ways to introduce French garden structure. Soft beige or pale gray stones create a relaxed surface that contrasts beautifully with green herbs and flowering borders. When sunlight hits the gravel, the tiny stones sparkle slightly, giving the walkway a bright, airy appearance that feels both informal and thoughtfully arranged. For a small backyard, keep the path about 2 to 3 feet wide so it feels comfortable but not overwhelming. Use simple edging such as reclaimed bricks, limestone, or even aged wood to keep the gravel in place. A gentle curve works well in compact gardens, guiding the eye through the space and making the layout feel more spacious. Weathered terracotta pots instantly evoke the relaxed elegance found in French countryside gardens. Their warm clay tones pair beautifully with green herbs and soft blooms like geraniums or daisies. Over time, the surface develops pale mineral marks and subtle patina, creating texture that blends naturally with stone walls, gravel paths, and rustic wooden elements. Affordable options can often be found at flea markets, thrift shops, or garden centers selling imperfect pieces. Group several pots in varied sizes rather than spacing them evenly. The irregular arrangement feels more authentic. Placing them near steps, corners, or along pathways helps anchor small garden areas without requiring expensive landscaping materials. Rows of lavender introduce the soft purple tones that define many classic French gardens. The narrow leaves form neat, silvery mounds while the blooms rise slightly above them, creating gentle layers of color. In warm sunlight, the plants release a delicate herbal fragrance that drifts through the air and subtly perfumes the entire garden. Lavender thrives in sunny locations with well-drained soil, making it a practical choice for low-maintenance borders. Plant them in small clusters or short rows along walkways to create rhythm without overcrowding the space. Even a few plants can establish a clear visual theme while keeping maintenance simple and water use minimal. Wrought iron details introduce graceful lines that contrast with soft greenery and flowers. A slender trellis, small plant stand, or decorative garden arch adds vertical structure without taking up much ground space. The dark metal surface, often slightly weathered, pairs beautifully with pale stone, gravel paths, and textured garden walls. Look for second-hand iron pieces at yard sales or local markets to stay within budget. Position them where climbing plants or trailing vines can gradually soften the structure. As foliage grows around the metal frame, the garden begins to feel layered and settled, as if the elements have always belonged together. Climbing roses bring height and softness to a garden that might otherwise feel flat. Their long stems weave through wooden or metal trellises, forming arches of green leaves and pastel blooms. When roses open in clusters, the layers of petals catch the light, creating gentle highlights against the darker foliage behind them. Choose a simple trellis placed near a wall or fence so the plant has support as it grows. Tie new stems loosely with garden twine and guide them sideways rather than straight upward. This encourages more blooms along the length of the vine. Regular pruning keeps the shape balanced and prevents the structure from becoming overcrowded. Next, consider building a compact herb corner using stacked wooden crates. Their rough boards and natural grain fit beautifully with the relaxed look of French cottage gardens. When filled with herbs like thyme, rosemary, and basil, the layered arrangement creates depth while keeping the plants organized and easy to reach. Crates can be placed directly on gravel or patio stone, forming a small tiered display that uses vertical space efficiently. Drill a few drainage holes if needed, and line the inside with simple garden fabric. This setup keeps costs low while providing a practical growing area for fresh herbs used in everyday cooking. A small fountain or stone basin can serve as a gentle focal point in a French-inspired garden. Aged stone, limestone, or concrete with subtle weathering works especially well. The basin doesn't need to be large. Even a compact piece can create a visual anchor that balances surrounding plants and pathways. The quiet sound of trickling water adds a soothing rhythm to the space, especially in the early morning or late afternoon. Placing the fountain near lavender or herbs allows fragrance and sound to mingle, creating a peaceful corner that invites a slower pace outdoors. Moving to seating areas, soft white furniture introduces brightness without overwhelming the garden palette. Painted metal benches or simple wooden chairs reflect natural light, helping smaller patios feel open and welcoming. Against greenery and flowers, the pale surface creates gentle contrast that keeps the garden visually balanced. Second-hand furniture can easily be refreshed with outdoor paint in warm white or cream tones. Place seating where it faces the garden rather than the house, so the plants become the main view. A small table nearby is useful for morning coffee, garden tools, or a vase of freshly cut flowers. Layered planting gives small gardens a fuller, more natural appearance. Start with low herbs near the path, followed by medium-height flowers such as salvia or daisies, and finish with taller shrubs at the back. This gradual height progression allows every plant to receive sunlight while creating a visually rich arrangement. When selecting plants, repeat 2 or 3 main colors throughout the bed to keep the composition cohesive. Spacing matters as well. Leave enough room for each plant to mature without crowding its neighbors. Over time, the layers blend together, forming a soft, flowing border that feels relaxed yet thoughtfully organized. Finally, lantern lighting can extend the garden's beauty into the evening hours. Simple metal or glass lanterns placed along paths or near seating areas cast a warm glow that highlights flowers and stone textures. As dusk settles, the light reflects softly off gravel and leaves, creating quiet pockets of illumination. Solar lanterns are an affordable option and require little maintenance beyond occasional cleaning. Arrange them in small clusters rather than perfectly spaced lines so the lighting feels natural. On calm evenings, the garden becomes a peaceful retreat, with gentle light guiding the eye through the landscape. From gravel pathways and vintage pots to fragrant lavender and gentle lantern light, these simple ideas show how a backyard can capture the quiet elegance of a French garden. Thoughtful layers, natural textures, and a few well-placed accents create a space that feels relaxed yet refined. A garden doesn't need to be large or expensive to feel meaningful. With care and creativity, even a small corner outdoors can become a peaceful retreat. If these ideas inspired you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments here on Rustic and Rooted.